Bottoms. This is a film I've been sitting on for too long. And even now, you're going to watch the review, and I'm going to tell you, I did this review before you watched it. And I didn't post it the day of because I already had reviews I needed to post. And I try not to barrage people with 27 posts every single day. But I actually bought this, I think it was on sale like during Black Friday, and then I didn't watch it right away and I sat on it. And now it's on MGM Plus. I don't know if it has audio description, but I'd be damned if I wasn't going to watch the digital copy that I bought off of iTunes. Um, this was something where I don't usually blind purchase a lot of films anymore. I hate that term now. I mean, I get it, but I don't know what the other term is for that. Anyway, blind film critic just used the word blind purchase. Oh my God. Um, and I don't usually do that anymore, or as much, but I really loved Emma Seligman's last film, Shiva Baby. That was just sort of a surprise for me. It didn't even have audio description, and just her wit, the things that she was tackling in that film. I could tell it was just like, it was the script, it was the film, it was the choices. Everything in that film just surprised me from a director I hadn't heard of. So when I heard that this was her follow up, I was really excited about it regardless. And yeah, I got it. It wasn't that expensive in during somewhere during Black Friday season. Um, and it had audio description. I actually thought erroneously this was an A24 film. It's not. It's MGM, and if I had paid better attention, I wouldn't have done that because I would have known where it was going to go. I would have known what streaming service was going to end up on, and I could have saved myself some money. But you live, you learn. So this stars Rachel Sennett again, who was great in Shiva Baby. So they're back together. They also co-wrote this, and they also brought along Ayo Edebiri um, as the co-lead. And Marshawn Lynch is in this and got like a Breakthrough Performer Award, which I love. Hilarious. Um, so what's up with Bottoms? Is it good? Should you watch it? It has audio description. It's one of those films where immediately you have to sort of wrap your head around the fact that you don't live in the real world, or these people don't live in the real world. Um, they live in some alternate reality where things are the way they are, and you just have to accept them. And if you can't accept that, then you won't enjoy the film. It's very a uh, hyper realized version. Now, one of the things that I thought was funny is um, in the audio description, they don't. I've every review I've seen or read points out how hilarious it is. The football players are in full gear, like with shoulder pads and everything at all times, because this high school is basically football high. I mean, they love football. They worship their football players, and there really isn't much room for anything else. So these guys just walk around in full. And I kind of missed that in the audio description when these football players show up, that they're in full gear. I mean, I've heard that they are, but that was not something that I pulled from the audio description. So that would be my suggestion to the audio description team, would have been pointing that out more often. Because even if you point it out once, it doesn't mean they're always in. But from all of the sighted people who've been talking about this film, it seems like they're always in costume. Like they don't ever change into normal clothes, like for that you would see a high schooler in. So that's a joke that gets lost. Um, and thus, I just had the wonderful storyline about two lesbian students wanting to start a fight club, which is really not even that. It's not even that's not even really the story. They kind of get into the film kind of puts them in a situation. I don't think the script is nearly as smart as Shiva Baby, because it kind of like forces people to get into certain situations with little explanation, um, little setup, and yeah, they kind of get themselves in a situation, the two main characters, and they end up injuring a football player, which is bar, like unheard of. It wasn't even on campus. It was somewhere else, and they injured a football player, and so they get called to the principal's office. And the principal's, devoted to football, and is chastising them, and they talk about how they were, you know, starting a self-defense class to protect the girls from the rival football team. Who there was just an announcement from a girl over the thing that was like how she got attacked by some football player from the other team. I would love to explain this world to you in greater detail. I'm trying to do at least something so this movie makes some sort of sense. Um, and that's when they decide in that moment to kind of talk about the Fight Club. They don't do it for a reason that's stated. They do it out of necessity to get out of the conversation. And then they decide to actually make it a reality when they realize what it could give them, But they kind of have to actually start acting like they are doing something, so that they, you know, so that their lie that they just told the principal actually becomes a reality. But that would be way too complicated to put into the IMDb, little like blurb about what is the plot about. So it's easier to just say lesbians start a fight club to get laid. It's not really what the movie's about, but okay. That's it's a really cursory. That's like if somebody watched the trailer and that was your takeaway from the trailer. It's a little bit more nuanced than that. Emma Sligman and Rachel Sennett are just slightly better writers than you give them credit for. They found a way to actually work it. It is sort of forced because it does feel like we're rushing to get to this idea of a fight club, right? Of a self-defense club, as they call it. And yeah, so that's kind of the film. And there's these interesting interactions and friendships and girls who actually learn how to do things, and they do actually grow, and they need a advisor, which is where Marshawn Lynch comes in. Very weird because the whole thing with him, there's some stuff in here that's just weird. They lie to him about what the club is, and then he shows up anyway. And they're like, "Yeah, you don't have to show up." One of the best things about being an ally to women is to just not show up. I love some of that. Some of the writing in here is like spot on. It's hilarious because it's the exact opposite of what you would hear. But then he shows up anyway, and he just kind of like seems like he just kind of like gives up, and he's like, "Oh, whatever, they're just doing this, I guess." So it's just like it's not even the same club that they pitched him, but his character is just so passive that he's just like, at first he's like, what's happening? Can't be doing this. Then he just kind of gives up, and then he just kind of sits there and anyway, participates and whatever. It's just, I don't know. I did want more for this film, but that's only because Shiva Baby set such a high bar for me. It's when you have somebody that comes out of the gate right away with their first film, and it's just like, wow, damn, and then the follow-up to that is, all right, well, that was fine. That was fine. I didn't hate it. I liked it. I'm glad I saw it. It has some really good jokes, some really good one-liners. But it does kind of feel like it feels like it needed to marinate a little bit more, that Emma and Rachel probably could have taken another pass at the script and just made things gel a little bit better. It kind of feels like things just kind of happen in this film. They just kind of pop up, and we're here, and then this is happening, and we're going to go do the next thing because we need to. And it's not as nuanced as Shiva Baby was. I felt like Shiva Baby was just more of a nuanced film and script. I love the lead performances. I think both Rachel Sennett and Ayo Edebiri are hilarious in this. I think they're great. I love that we're doing the thing where we're trying not even remotely to try to cast people who look like they could possibly be in high school. Both of these actresses are too old to be in high school. I don't know if you know that. Anyway, so yeah, it's an interesting film. It's got some really funny like whip smart one-liners in it. Some like really just I mean, I either smirked or like giggled a couple times in the film. But it's funny because it wasn't like laugh out loud, because then I would lose that and I would get back into the plot of the film, which kind of seemed like, what are we doing? And but then they'd come up with a really great line and I'd laugh again, and then we'd be back into the plot of the film and then I'd laugh again. So it was just like it's a give and take. But I do think it's one of the better comedies of the year. It's just I would have loved to just say bottom. I would have loved to see bottoms on my top 10 list, and talk about how great Emma Seligman is again. And I can't. I just can't do it. I feel like this is like um, Alex Garland when he went from Ex Machina to Annihilation. It's not that Annihilation is a bad film. It's just not as good as Ex Machina. He didn't move in an upwards direction. So he started off with a fantastic film and then moved into a solid film. Like I like Annihilation. I think there's a lot to work with there, but it's not Ex Machina. So that's kind of the risk when you come out of the gate so strong, and everybody notices you. It's like, oh, what are you gonna do next? Better be good. So I kind of feel for Emma Seligman, and I'm still a fan. I'm still a fan. This is not a bad film. I'm not giving this thumbs down. If I was RT approved, this would be getting a fresh uh, thumbs up rating from me. So don't worry. I'm not bashing the film. I just think Shiva Baby's better. Audio description, like I said, it didn't really help. I think the comedy of the film. I think there are a lot of visual elements and style in this film that I've heard described from other film critics as being one of the reasons they like the film. With a lot of the choices that they made, a lot of the um, posters that apparently there are like posters on the wall of the lead quarterback, like he's some sort of you know, teen idol type thing. Like they go overboard to really sell this idea that this school just loves football, like nonstop, 24/7. That this town, this school, this principal, this football team is everything, And I didn't get that out of the narration. It's like this whole big plot point that they, not really a plot point, but this whole big theme that they've chosen for the film that could be hilarious just kind of seems like we didn't do anything with it, and we kind of just focused on the characters and who's in what room and who's turning to look at who. And I don't know, I think if you have a film that's clearly making visual style choices in a unique and special way that's different, I try to do something with that. But then at the same time, I also know that sometimes studios block things out of audio description and say you can't put this in the audio description. And if that happened here, then fuck you, MGM. I mean, obviously it should be up to the only person who should be making that decision is Emma Seligman, the director of that film. There should be no one else making that decision. If Emma Seligman is like, yeah, I'd rather not mention that. I probably should have cut that out of the film. Like that's in the background. I didn't really mean, that's not really the focus of the scene. It'd be great if we could focus on something else. Like that would be something. But I think she made some clear choices here that I've heard from other people, and I just didn't feel like that was represented in the audio description. So I don't think it's awful audio description. It's still human, which is better than already puts it like miles ahead. But yeah, it's something that I don't think it necessarily saw what she was trying to do with the film. And I think if I sat down with her and talked about, we listened to the audio description track, I think she would feel like probably it doesn't represent what she was going for. And that's where I would love to get actually like creatives involved in the process and thinking about how you want this, um, how do you want blind people to see your film? Because we still, in an age of social media where I still have social media accounts and people follow me and I can go on YouTube, I can still come on here and say whether or not I liked a film or didn't like a film. And audio description is such a huge factor of that. So anyway, in general, I liked Bottoms. I didn't love it, but I liked it. I'm giving Bottoms a B. Um, so anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Please click that subscribe button. I'm still, at least as of recording this video, trying to get over 200 subscribers by the end of the year. That'd be great. And I have a website, MacTheMovieGuy.com. You can follow me on X, Threads, or Instagram, Mac the Movie Guy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what is audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television series. That's it for me today. I will review something else and see you guys on the other side.